Have you heard about this? They're calling it Morgan Monday. New hotness on the streets. Everybody's talking about it. Good morning, everybody.
Oh shoot, I was muted. Nobody got to hear my everybody's talking about Heartbreak Monday.
Heartbreak Monday. The Heartbreak Homunculus.
Maybe.
Jury is still out on this.
I'm hoping that my allergies don't make this suck bad.
Oh, yeah, I've been suffering from something uncertain for a few days.
Yeah, the past week it's finally been kicking in and I'm just leaking constantly out the nose.
Not ideal at all.
But also only backwards. Oh, light nausea and it's fine. It's just every year, once it's done, enough time passes that I'm like, my allergies aren't that bad. And then it happens again and I've got 2 months of hell.
Yup. It's fucked. It's no good at all.
Wicked and evil.
I don't know if what I've got going on is allergies or if it's some other shit, but it's got things in common. Recap. I actually don't feel like I have a good grasp on everything that happened last week because we jumped into the trial pretty quick. I think.
It was what's his nuts finally got there, Wormy Man.
Yes.
And he told a story and Morgan went and looked at the camera and went, what if cops suck and are bad actually? And she did that repeatedly until the room everything broke down.
Yeah,
and,
definitely the bulk of what I remember is like, yeah, this guy was to be honest, a pretty dog shit witness, and even Emma was like upset with him. And then, yeah, in a courtroom full of cops, Morgan said maybe the guy who got killed, who was a cop, was colluding with criminals.
Who was a cop and also the son of city councilman.
One of the most beloved guys in the city, probably. At least if you're, like, you know, a square. So the upshot of this is we get to have another evening to try to, gather some info to help Sosuke out.
Keep forgetting it's Sosuke.
We also had a fun bit right before finishing up. We're back at the crime scene to investigate, but we have already found one thing. The knife Morgan left here on the night that she came and killed all those guys. And she made Sarah put it in her mouth.
Sarah's unique but admissible forensic analysis.
She was very unhappy with us. But it's okay. And I don't think there's actually a lot new to find. Is this evidence? It's a piece of crap some crime scene tech left behind. Nothing relevant about it. Yes, you're right. It's just displaying a news article they must have been reading. Apparently they've arrested the Heartbreak Killer. It's copycat, yes. The Heartbreak Killer's copycat. And it seems... Just let me skim it for myself. Can't scare us like that.
I like to think that that it's not that she paused there dramatically. It's that Morgan went into freezing in time mode for a moment.
Could
the
be.
thing where her pupils went blank.
As soon as she heard the syllables of heart, she was like, oh shit. Suspected Heartbreak copycat foiled, arrested. An individual suspected of planning an act of terror has been arrested thanks to quick response from local police and well-coordinated efforts from state investigators. The suspect, whose identifying information has not been released to the public, was apprehended by officers seemingly in the midst of preparing their attack, having already loaded a firearm and several magazines of ammunition into their vehicle. Police have not commented on whether the firearm in question was properly tagged, but insiders with close ties to the investigation claim that the weapon itself was not what led to the arrest. We had identified a troubling pattern of net activity in the days leading up to the arrest. Concerning searches and attempts to access old net portals. The suspect had already been on our radar by that point, so when they posted that manifesto, we were able to quickly secure a warrant for their arrest. The alleged manifesto in question consists of what was, at the time, a publicly accessible online document praising Heartbreak's hardline stance against neoliberal corporate soft power, and listing a number of complaints and criticisms against the recent business decisions made by Hanami Robotics. Most notably, an announcement made on their last earnings call that they would begin moving manufacturing jobs offshore. While the decision landed Hanami in some controversy at the time, their stock price steadily increased in the days after, reflecting optimism amongst shareholders that Hanami's lucrative product line of mostly heavy construction robots would no longer be so strictly tied to national politics. When the arrest was first made, no clear connection between the individual and Hanami was apparent, but Hanami's CFO has since been seen speaking at an investor conference at a hotel within 50 kilometers of the suspect's residence, suggesting a possible target. The takeaway here is that terrorist acts like this one are easily caught, easily prevented, and there is no standing risk to the public, said lead investigator Kinnings in his official statement to the press. To any dissidents out there thinking they're the next Heartbreak just because you bought a gun, you will be caught, you will be prosecuted, and your hero won't be far behind. Update. Hanami Robotics has yet to respond to requests for comment, but their official social media accounts have released simultaneous statements denouncing in the strongest terms rising violence and thanking investigators for their swift and decisive action. We have also learned that a select portion of shareholders have received messages clarifying Hanami's global market strategy and reaffirming their commitment to their workers as well as to their customers and shareholders. Whether this is an indication of a reversal of their decision to relocate manufacturing jobs overseas. Like what you're reading? Does it change how you feel about Hanami Robotics? What if you could have access to stories like this hours or even days before the rest of the public? With a Premier account, you'll have access to all our updates on the business world as soon as they hit our desk. Remember, that's not insider trading, that's forerunner trading. Gracious. What was that?
Just days? You can have access to this breaking news days in advance?
Yeah, I feel like the best case scenario for that is like they just sit on the articles for no reason, in which case it's like, well, that just doesn't make sense. And the other implication that feels like it makes any sense is that if you're subscribing, they just send you out the like shoddy first draft without fact checking or editing or anything.
I love the simultaneous facts that because Heartbreak stands for nothing, they can stand for whatever someone decides they stand for. And also that by all accounts, there is literally no sign there was a terrorist act planned.
Yeah. Just they had a gun and they like posted some kind of manifesto, but
they had a gun they posted online in a way that doesn't even seem like it was a manifesto, but it's being called a manifesto, and they happened to live within 50 miles of where someone from a company was giving a speech.
Yeah, like 50 kilometers? But either way, like...
Mm-hmm.
And I never have a good mental measure of how miles and kilometers transfer, but it ain't nothing. It's nothing.
It's nothing. It's nothing. It's nothing. It's nothing.
Think on it a little more. It seems like Heartbreak isn't going away, no matter what happens to the original. So it would seem. Okay. Okay, there's a couple more things. Ankertan. Supposedly he was the first to die. Logically, he had to have been. He's the one who had the gun. If an attacker got it away from him, they must have done so first. Yes, I can see that the gun is registered to him. Right, registered. Who the hell would look at this guy with that gun and just nod him along? Patrol officers TC and HR 1 week ago. Wait a minute. Tariq Chopin and Huey Rogers.
Wow.
Oh. TC and HR. Tariq Chopin and Huey Rogers? The badge numbers match. It seems like they detained Ankertan briefly during a stop and frisk and found this gun on him. Finding a gun like this on anyone with priors during a stop and frisk. At the very minimum, that's grounds for 28 days detainment. Why'd they just let him go? Is it possible that he was a criminal informant? If he was a CI, they wouldn't have even logged the incident. And besides, patrol officers don't have their own CIs. Then perhaps they let him go for some other reason. Because they'd already gotten what they wanted from him? Make sure to copy the file of that stop and frisk report. Right away. More info on the gun. Subject in possession of firearm in violation of parole. Firearm illegally modified. Subject in possession of suspect communication software on personal phone. Released with a warning in accordance with Police Code 65329E, personal discretion without prejudice. Okay, very interesting. A client, Sasuke. According to Rogers, this is how he found him. Thrusting the sword into Chopin. Or merely trying to retrieve it. Not a huge improvement there. He really was found in a terrible state, wasn't he? That was before the police gave him his cop killer welcoming, and... Sarah, bring up the medical files on Sasuke. I want to go over everything we know about how he looked when Rogers arrested him. What specifically? I guess wound patterns? Might let me look at both, but... How exactly was he injured? His left hand was broken. He had internal bleeding throughout his torso. Bruising and rope burns on his wrists where he was found. Contusions all over the anterior side of his body. And he also sustained a large blunt force trauma wound on the back of the head. His biggest wound was to the back of his head. I guess if he fell backwards to the ground. There is also a small cut on his left hand. How small? As if he cut himself in the kitchen. Wasn't expecting a metaphor there, but it's effective enough. He was covered in blood, right? Were samples taken for analysis? The blood on his torso and head was all his own. He got some of Chopin's blood on him while he was face down, being cuffed by Officer Rogers. And he also had a great deal of Trey's blood on his feet and pant legs. Any other questions about our client's arrest, Adonai? Not unless there are some crime scene photos you've been holding out on me. I am afraid not. How is it that I'm the only one who made an effort to preserve the crime scene? Really good. Which it does keep coming back to, and obviously there's, at the bare minimum, this is something if this isn't me latching onto the intent, this is something it feels like they're making an effort to set up some red herring meat towards, but like, it does, so much about it really does easily read as like obstruction of justice due to like complicity on mostly Rogers' part. But I guess we'll see eventually. Red Ink Protocol, designed to make data difficult to physically redistribute. Couldn't anyone just take out their phone and snap a picture of the pages? It seems that some of the responding officers attempted to. The ARC shows that they failed. That's some fancy ink. What do you see when you look at the pages, then? No more detail than you do, I'm afraid. It's strange, isn't it? They went to such lengths to protect this information. And yet these papers were left out where Officer Chopin or anyone could read them. They weren't left there by Creek. I took the documents out of his safe so I could reach the mask. And I must have left them out on the desk afterwards. There's something behind the desk. Probably just another look at Creek. Probably find something new out. So, this is where they found Creek's body. He was the only one who didn't die instantly. If anyone had a chance to use a silent alarm... No, he must have been paralyzed in between the time he was shot and his actual expiration. They weren't paralyzed. What do you mean? If they had been paralyzed, Yumi would have noted that in her autopsy. That's true. But he just sat there limp the whole time. Didn't even try to move. He was playing dead? Letting me think he couldn't move so I wouldn't notice his... Was anything found in his hands? Anything at all? It doesn't seem like it. They weren't holding something by the time their body got to the morgue. If he had been holding something, but dropped it when he died... Help me look. For what? Anything small enough to fit in the palm of your hand. Hang on, what's this? What was that? Did you just jump? I was really surprised by that sound, hadn't I? What sound? I just brushed against this. This little toy thing. You can hear it? I can, and it is not exactly pleasant on the ears. Could any android hear it, or is this some special feature David gave you? I'd imagine any android or robot or electronic device with modern features could pick up this tone. Maybe I should close the window before I test it anymore and stop torturing all the dogs in the neighborhood. Closing the window would not matter. It's soundproofed, though. But the specific frequency of this tone is not in your audible spectrum to begin with. Right. But do you really think Creek was toying with that nuisance maker in their final moments?
Nuisance maker.
I wish I had gotten logged as nuisance maker in the evidence. Whistle of unusual make. Frequency inaudible to humans, capable of being picked up by many electronics. That feels pretty tangible. That about wraps it up in here. Miss Han, since Cyanus is technically in charge of securing the crime scene, what should we do with this?
Do with what?
Gracious. Adane, please refrain from pressing that button any more than necessary. Sorry, Sarah, I can see you don't like it. But Miss Han's phone doesn't seem to like it either.
It's just Han. And I don't know what you're talking about. I get messages all the time.
Han, ma'am, if you could please just admit it so she stops pressing that...
Fine, whatever. Yes, he found one of our alarms.
Pretty clever system.
The powder. Not really. It's just an app. You set the frequency and get a note if the app picks it up.
The range?
Couple kilometers.
Thanks for clearing that up. Well, I have you here, though. Exactly how fast did you show up to the scene of the crime?
Pardon?
This is a blue blood neighborhood. Do you really expect people to believe the cops lumbered their way here faster than any of you could?
What exactly are you trying to say? Yeah, I'm tuned to that frequency. I'm tuned to a lot of frequencies. It's a good way of communicating without the Megs or the pigs listening in.
So you didn't get this alarm the night of the incident?
Didn't even know it went off that night. You got proof it did?
Can you explain how else Officer Chopin could have gotten here?
Nah, not my job to either.
Is it your job?
For a second I thought it was a Han line again.
Oh. Is it your job to come to a fellow Blue Blood's aid when they're desperately calling for help?
I didn't know Creek like that.
I didn't say Creek was the one who had this.
Saw where you were poking around, and there's the head of the pod. I assumed. Creek's a stranger to me.
Even though you're both young bloods? I'm guessing that's what the tattoo means. Neither of you make much effort to hide it. It is plainly visible, even in their autopsy photos.
You have no idea what the sink means.
Would you tell us what it means?
Blood bag.
What? The old guard use you as donors.
Gangsters live a life of drugs, smoking, drinking, and back alley mods. And end up with livers and kidneys that look like charred steak. Who could have guessed? Got no children because the Ikaria killed them all. Can't get on the donor list because they're geriatric, reviled crime lords. So what do? Hey kid, wanna be a gangster? Let me see if you got what it takes. Just have to check your midichlorian count. That's what I'm doing. Hold still. Oh, I should have waited to make the joke. Hold still while I prick your finger. Same. They tattooed our torsos, because even if you mod off all 4 limbs, you can still pump clean plasma. Every drop an indicator of quality. I'm a universal donor, so I get 3. AAA graded, just like meat.
Ugh. And Creek?
Save it for the trial, lady.
Are we done here, you think?
Da, 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 da.
Not quite. Emma's argument is that Sosuke didn't escape from here. He was brought out into the other room to be questioned, and then he broke free. I know that's not true. Sosuke would have been stuck here until the police arrived if I hadn't handed him the Mag US to, well, frame him. And the knife, also to frame him. But secondarily, so that he could cut himself free from...
being framed.
his bindings. Those bloody rags there. So that he could cut himself free, and thus be implicated even more from me framing him. Remember what Sosuke told us when we first met? That he was bound in here the whole time until his bad Samaritan came along. And gave him a knife. Now we know what knife he was talking about. And now I want to know whose blood this is. The blood on the bindings? It would have to belong to Sosuke, wouldn't it? All the other bodily fluids in this room do. Probably, but I need to know. You've already done it once. What's one more time? One more time will surely make me sick. Please, Adonai, let us ask one of the scientists employees on standby to analyze it. They have a record for very fast turnaround on DNA tests, I promise. I can show you customer reviews. That's right. Scientist does DNA testing. Typically paternity tests, as part of their private investigative services. But they have been assisting the police with DNA analysis around the scene. Constant bullying and cruelty to Sarah forever. It's not right at all. I will flag the bindings to be analyzed. Wait. I have already made the request, Adane. If you insist on making me test the bindings myself now, you will only be upsetting my stomach to satisfy your own impatience. Fine. But I'm gonna cite this incident the next time we discuss arrays. Not fair. Mean to her. Really is a shithole in here, though, huh? Big ol' crack in the wall. Their cyborg teenage son must have punched the wall in anger.
Right.
I agree with your sentiment, if not your choice of words. It feels like a cruel place. What is it? Was there something we missed in here, Adonai? No, not in here. The windows. They were closed when Creek was shot. Still closed when Chopin and Rogers arrived on site. But they were open by the time Rogers got to this room. I used that contradiction to argue for the presence of a third party. Because someone must have opened them. To go down the fire escape. And then what? They must have dropped down to the alley and ran away, right? Yeah, that's one option. What's the other? Would it kill them to do some sweeping around here? I guess that would be contaminating the crime scene at this point. But then what the hell do all these cops and sinus chumps actually do? Lean on walls and screw around on their phones? I think you're being a bit harsh in your assessment. But you aren't alone in your criticism. Detective Reyes had much to say about how Cyanus employees were not wearing gloves and knocking over trash. If they had picked up trash, they'd be removing evidence. The arcs would light up. Adding trash, though. Adonai? Help me look through this. Garbage again already? Just stop looking.
Garbage again, no problem.
If any of it requires DNA analysis. Garbage again, small problem. Wait, there. Red. I don't smell any blood. Not blood. Ink. A torn page of the red ink documents. With what looks like a shoe print on it. Shall we try and match it to samples? Good luck. Cops and security types all wear the same kinds of boots. On top of which, 99 out of 100 shoes in the city are made by the same two Megs. But if the print isn't useful, that just leaves the actual text, and that... Looks like the letters were all run through the wash a couple dozen too many times. Well, it isn't particularly informative. And I don't understand exactly how this clue fits in with everything else we've seen. But doesn't this seem important? How could that have been lying here neglected this whole time?
Princess, I'll have to call you right back. Of course, wouldn't dream of it. Come on. You know me! You know me! You find there? More dead men's garbage? Keep it up and you girls are gonna make me look bad.
Happy to be of assistance. So would you like to add this to the arcs, or should I?
Well, seems like you got momentum going, so... Please, don't let me get in your way.
You don't wear gloves on the job, Miss Han?
It's just Han, but you already know that. You probably also know that they don't really make them in my size.
So if we found your fingerprints in here on those windows, or even upstairs?
Oh man, I'd be pretty embarrassed. I almost always get rated 5 stars. So, do you need me to walk you out?
I'll be fine, thanks.
Suit yourself. Just be careful you don't get lost. Sun will be going down soon. Be hard to find your way back in the dark.
Yeah, okay. This idea is starting to look like a pretty safe bet. Your theory that Chopin was assassinated as an attack on the Old Guard. But how can we confirm it? We still haven't met anyone from the Old Guard. Though even if we had, it occurs to me that they would be reluctant to speak with Sosuke Ikaria's legal team. Don't be so pessimistic. The enemy of my enemy is usually willing to at least talk. And talk is where I do all my best work. Where do we look, then? You still got the address boss gave us? Six in the evening. Blue Blood territory. I'll check this real quick. Red ink document. Common boot print. Disregarded by previous sweeps. Dismissed as trash. Watermark does... Oh, wait. I mean, that's not too surprising. I assume that's the Cyanus watermark.
Hey there, tall, red, and mysterious. Ladies, please, come in. Don't be shy. Let me guide you to a booth.
Local host.
God.
I forgot what this was until now. Should we take a seat for now? With taste as expensive as yours? If you get near a menu, these people will drain my checking account on overpriced champagne faster than I can blink. Oh, champagne.
As much as you'd like.
This is gonna derail fast if I don't find a way to shut it down. Surefire way to get exactly the right kind of attention and douse their salesmanship in one go. I'll need to go with that.
Hey, please don't frown. A smile would suit your face, pretty face much.
I need to speak with your manager. Just a chorus of the whole staff? What happened? They're all walking away.
I wanted my champagne. Hey, Mama, yeah, some kind of, I don't know, accountant or whatever here to talk to you.
The voice on the other end of his earpiece grumbles a response. A cranky one, judging by his reaction.
Mom will be out in a second. You're expected to buy something in the meantime.
You got tap water?
You don't want to drink the tap water in this district.
Soda water?
It's all overpriced, lady. Might as well get something you'll enjoy.
I thought my first visit to a host club would be more celebratory than this.
So sad.
How much thought have you given to the subject?
Yes.
Sarah's been watching vintage anime. Asterisk, this joke is based on the in-game year being 2086, not on the age of the anime relative to the current real-life date. Okay, well, we'll go article mode. One message. One moment.
I mean, this the thing is that it's, for instance, Orin Host Club is still like nearly 26 years old.
Yeah, it's not vintage.
If you think so.
Like, there's the way I always think about it is this is mostly relevant to like fashion and like other aesthetic signifiers, but like a lot of terms like vintage and retro and antique have kind of become associated with like a specific thing. Like, it's less about how long ago that time period was relevant to like now, and more about like
But sorry, I'm just thinking about about what are you going to spend your Sarah, what are you going to spend your oh my god, what is the term? Not fee. Your wages on. I'm ordering vintage anime. As it collects as time passes, it will collect in value.
Oh, it is kind of like, it is really charming how they've characterized her nerdy interests as extending to like alcohol, though. What kind of light reading gets tossed around a club like this? Probably something along the lines of, I've spent every night at a host club for 1 year. Here's what the staff taught me about emotional workloads in corporate settings. Oh wait, this actually looks somewhat interesting. Fungus stymies bamboo, stokes unrest. One moment.
Fungus, now we're talking.
I thought this article was gonna be about lame shit like sex, but it's actually about death.
I got a lame shit like sex, but it's actually about mushrooms.
Oh, hold on. Okay. Less than ideal rainfall patterns, met with greater than usual saltwater flooding, had already left many of the tropically centered macro farms that produce most of the world's bamboo struggling to meet demand. Now, with increasingly widespread reports of fungal infections, tensions are beginning to rise in the region, as its large migrant worker population is faced with the possibility of one of the worst quarters on record. Bamboo is a highly versatile crop cultivated successfully for thousands of years and on all 7 continents, if one counts the agricultural science labs on the Antarctic Peninsula. Excuse me, goodness, that snuck up on me.
And if you don't, what are you, a pervert?
But in recent decades, advances in agricultural genetics and greater restrictions on the lumber industry's woodcutting activity had led to bamboo becoming a premier organic manufacturing and construction material for much of the world, especially in impoverished regions that often lack the machinery required to process advanced synthetic equivalents. The hardy plant can grow in a wide variety of environments and humidity levels, and has even been considered an aggressive invasive species at times. But modern genetically modified monocultures are tailored to grow specifically in a small number of tropic and subtropic biomes intended to provide a stable cash crop for regions that have historically struggled to farm soy, sugar, or wheat. But it's a delicate balancing act between tuning a cultivar to a target environment and rendering it unviable in the wild. And years like this one can put that vulnerability on full display. The fungus practically chews through the groves. You can see it growing with the naked eye, said one worker who requested anonymity due to concerns over their citizenship status. The company tells us to just burn it all, but it's too damp for anything to catch fire. Bamboo is hard to burn, so they want us using this incendiary stuff. and they won't pay for us to have masks. Data on the efficacy of burn pits in combating the spread of the fungus is limited, but most corporate officials agree that the risk of inhalation among personnel is low and masks are an unnecessary measure. Some of the migrant worker population, however, is arguing that the hesitancy to provide masks is more politically motivated. Plotters' rebellion was decades ago, but the gas mask is still a powerful symbol even today. Back then, workers went on strike because the conditions growing mushrooms in the fungal plots were so unbearable. Now this fungus is cutting into profits again, you've got a lot of workers dependent on the industry, a lot of young people who could easily be out of work. I'd be surprised if they weren't getting nervous. It is true that the region is home to a disproportionately young population, as many international trade schools have flocked to tropical climates in an attempt to attract students with promises of low cost of living and vacation-like idyllic conditions. And though education lies firmly in the realm of corporate authority, government officials are also keenly aware of the risks and challenges associated with such a large student population. Ramsey syndrome remains a serious concern among, "We're having difficulty authenticating your identity. Can you provide some basic info so we can get this webpage displaying properly for you?" Not the reading material I expected to find here. But judging from the article, the mags are getting concerned about... the corporate...
Very good! Very good election joke.
Yup. It definitely seems like the unrest is more what's bothering megs and officials. The fungus is a problem, sure, but they've engineered their crops around problems like it 100 times before. Easier to update the monoculture genetics than your entire global economic model. The megs are probably more concerned about all the young people getting agitated about their job security. The warmer the waters, the bigger the storms that they brew. Bad enough that I'm walking into the lion's den here. Stepping even further into blue blood territory to defend an Icaria assassin. Do I really have to wait for the shoe to drop in a place this sleazy too? Are you perhaps not enjoying yourself, Adonai? You're getting better at picking up on that. You are frowning quite openly. Are we in danger of getting arrested here? There's nothing illegal about a host club. So are you just uncomfortable then? Unamused. A host or hostess club is a type of nightclub in which staff cater to clientele with attention, conversation, company, and flirtatious behavior. The talent, hosts or hostesses, make most of their wages through what is essentially a commission on the sale of drinks, food, or other services by the club. While host clubs and their associated culture were internationally fairly niche during the 20th century, and saw a large decline in popularity for the first half of the 21st century, they have undergone somewhat of a renaissance in the last 20 to 30 years. Shifting cultural norms about parasociality, online dating, and work-life harmony may have contributed to this phenomenon. Some sociologists have observed that host clubs have developed a new reputation as a kind of social gym, where young adults can exercise their social skills in a low-risk environment. Others argue that increases in average work hours have pushed single individuals away from traditional drinking culture and long-term dating. And for employees of multinational corporations who maintain running, discrete tabs at select establishments, attendance may be seen as an advisable or even mandatory step in acquiring and maintaining relationships with their superiors. Despite the global trend of the decriminalization of sex work, host clubs have remained a distinct industry. That said, it is hardly uncommon for staff at one establishment or the other to switch sides. Users also frequently searched for how to build confidence, how to know if the hostess really likes you, courtesan versus hostess, who would win.
In a gunfight.
There's something over there. Okay. Oh. Have you ever been to an establishment like this before? No. Not even when you were apprenticing. There may have been certain work parties where attendance was strongly encouraged. But I'd never set foot within a kilometer of a place like this otherwise. I suppose if you have a hard spending limit, there's only so much you can enjoy. And it's not a matter of cost. It's a matter of taste.
Oh, wait, that was probably spending limit. Okay. I had thought I heard you say speeding limit.
Oh.
But probably just my audio processing.
Surely everyone enjoys being paid attention, no? It's flattering. Not everyone takes to being complimented. I see. So you respond more to being challenged. What do you think?
Yeah.
Perhaps not.
No, definitely yes.
I saw a post that was
Is the
like...
response always good? No, but...
Oh, what was it? I think I gotta go... Go dig it up. Post on Blue Sky. I've seen a lot of really cute Morgan Balitro posts, but if she played video games, I don't think she'd enjoy any game where she wasn't able to prove herself more skilled than another actual human person. In this essay, I'll explain why League of Legends...
No.
See, it's a funny post, but I think, like... I think I wouldn't be able to enjoy any game where she wasn't able to prove herself more skilled than another human person. I don't disagree, but I also don't think she would she wouldn't have the interest in trying to pursue like competitive, like professional gaming, and I think she would get too pissed off at her useless teammates in team games.
Here's the thing. Balatro, you can prove how much better you are. You get high scores. Absolutely, she'd be into high scores. For one thing, and for another, she is not a team player.
Not at all. If in the context of...
Neither are most people who play League of Legends, but...
Yeah.
but Morgan strikes me as the kind of person who, like, the moment she's not enjoying something, she will just drop it and walk away.
Oh, absolutely.
She's a stronger person than I.
My wife and I like the idea, though, that, like, she does get, like, into games where the main element is like a 1v1 competition, but with like a strategic feel. Not like fast-paced stuff like fighting games, but like the specific one that my wife suggested was StarCraft.
Maybe. I'm gonna have to think about this.
Do you think they were being literal when they said you were expected to make a purchase? Probably. Doesn't mean I'll oblige them. No, it's not like spending money here will make them less likely to cooperate. I would offer some suggestions based on customer reviews and price points, but For some reason, I don't see prices listed on any of the items on their menu.
Oh.
Was a mistake made when formatting the data? I really hate this place. If I say champagne, do you think... is Morgan going to at least offer it to Sarah?
I have no idea.
Because I'm gonna do it either way.
I think when I played, I picked wine as like a compromise.
Makes sense. Oh, what the hell? Hey. Pom doing on. Pour out a tower for all I care. Suddenly. Oh dear. Suddenly, as if I uttered a magic phrase, or a sleeper cell kill switch, all the eyes of the staff around the room dart to me. With a jolt of energy, the bartender jumps up to ring a bell above the counter. Palm D Tower. The staff begin an unsettlingly chipper chant. Tower, tower, tower,
tower.
I'm not sure Sarah's eyes can get any wider.
A commemorative photo, ma'am. Where would you like to sit, madame?
Who's the smallest spender in here?
What? I mean, we don't really keep track of that sort of...
His eyes wandered, losing light all the while until they settled into a glassy-eyed, pitying stare at an overworked-looking young man at a small table. Adjusting his tie while the girl next to him makes no effort to hide her boredom. Send it over to him, king for a day.
Morgan?
With the same nervous smile he'd used to shake hands with a suicide bomber, the bartender redirects the oncoming parade toward my designated lucky loser. He looks terrified. Money well spent.
He's so legitimately happy.
You just gave the tower away. I've got shit to do. I can't drink all of that. I could have perhaps helped. But even so, after you paid all that money, to just pass it along to some stranger. Are you some kind of saint? Oh, I'm not paying for that. Makoto's getting this bill.
Oh.
Your client. File it under investigative expenses. That is not exactly inaccurate, but... What's he gonna do, kill me?
Yes.
Given his position in the house and his age, it would be more likely he'd have you killed.
I'm on deck.
The big cheese.
Don't say that.
What exactly are you expecting? Just a fat little mouse walking on its hind legs but otherwise not anthropomorphized at all. With like a big fancy hat walks out. With a title like Mama. I would expect a stern but fair nurturing figure who...
The hell do you want?
Oh. Is that the kind of treatment one should expect at this establishment after purchasing a champagne tower?
That was you? Well, shit. You clearly need information a lot more than I thought. The Ikaria must be giving you the mushroom treatment. Keep them in the dark.
And feed them shit, yes, I've heard all the lawyer jokes. Now can we talk, or should I get on the phone and claim that my credit card's been stolen?
You bought a champagne tower. We can talk all goddamn night if you want.
Introductions, then. I'm...
Morgan, Esquire, criminal defense attorney representing Sosuke Ikaria. With a glowing green toaster as your +1. Hater!
Couldn't have put it better myself, miss.
Him, Hana, small business owner.
And one of the more influential members of the Blue Blood Old Guard, I take it?
The Old Guard are the only blue bloods that have any influence at all. First gens and Youngblood should count themselves lucky to be middle management.
Should you really be calling them young bloods?
God, I need to put more rasp in my voice. I'm not good at it. Oh, now the neon robot's gonna preach to us all about political correctness.
Really, madam?
I know PC. My gen invented PC. We got PC coming out our ears. So I mean it when I say Youngblood is a term of endearment.
Well, then I won't hesitate to use it.
To their face? Better not, they'd knock your teeth out.
How about a trade, Miss Kim?
Missus, you're talking to a widow.
He almost looks proud.
One who doesn't need anything from you. Not the best position to start bargaining from.
Although I guess, like, widowed women who are proud of being widowed, like, good on them. We're trading.
I mean, honestly, a lot of them is like, yeah, I loved that old bastard. Maybe I'll see him again someday.
Yeah.
But I can keep living.
We're trading information. If you think I can't give you anything, you're not thinking very hard.
Oh yeah? What do you think you've got?
Something I can tell her that she doesn't already know.
I killed Creek.
Bresson.
In fact, one moment goes to sit over next to the person she set the tower at. Hi, I killed Creek. I just vividly imagined one of those stupid, made-up, no one will ever believe you celebrity encounter stories, but it's Morgan walking up to someone and going, I'm the Heartbreak Killer.
Yeah. Admittedly, I feel like there's probably enough people who try to just be like, well, I'm actually Heartbreak. And then it just doesn't, like... Even if they get, like, detained on the spot and dragged in for questioning, it just doesn't amount to anything.
Fine. It's fine. After they disbelieve her, she pulls out a gun and shoots him in the heart.
Oh, fuck. Like like one of those, yokai. You gotta give her a non-answer.
And an answer.
I think this is later in the same day as the first part of the trial, because it was in the morning, and it's in, like, that evening now, so... With it, if we're trying to do a media lockout, I don't think the shooter's fate would be quite publicly known, but...
Yeah.
There was a whole thing about, like, they probably didn't... Whoever sent him didn't expect him to survive. But... I feel like that's the only, like... I can't really tell her anything about Creek's killer.
That's what you think?
And I don't think I actually know anything tangible about the Little Lord. I just have suspicions. Maybe they'll let me do all three, though, but I'll start on the one that makes the most sense. Oh no, that surprised her. I can tell you what happened at the courthouse today.
Something worth knowing had happened. It'd be in the news by now.
There is currently a blackout on media coverage of today's events.
There's always leaks.
Finding one will take time. I can give you a first-hand account right now.
Let's hear it.
Un instant.
Bresson. What a goddamn idiot. Completely useless.
He did manage to infiltrate an entire courtroom full of police officers, even knowing he wouldn't make it out alive.
And he still failed to hit the easiest shot of his life. But Bresson's just an incompetent addict. The useless idiot is the one who sent him there.
Not you, I take it.
Oldguard sounds like it moves slow and wise, but we got our fair share of hot-head dumbasses, too.
Impatient, hot-headed dumbasses.
Time's money.
My turn to ask a question. Money. Is that why you've been going after Makoto? Trying to drum up a king's ransom because you can't go to war without a war chest?
Everyone wants money. That's why they call it money. Who says we're at war? Who says we're in any rush?
Are you referencing something?
Yeah, it's something I literally, every time it comes up, I never remember what it's from.
Fuck.
It's a movie quote. Our plans are measured in decades, you little shit.
No, time isn't on your side right now. Right now, more than anything, you need money.
Says who? You?
Says the headlines. Time's running out before you miss the bus on. Let me double check which one specifically 492 is. Yeah, I don't think the Blue Blood's in it. I think the Nirvana is the main thing. Nirvana. Everyone in the capital knows it'll be legalized before the end of the year.
Ah, party drug. Dumb money.
Yes, dumb money. Best kind of money there is, and you could rake it in by the truckload. If you had the starting capital to build a dispensary network beforehand.
She has the best frown in the game. Best
For
in the
real.
business.
As things stand, the Grey Wave is gonna roll your hard work up in a ball and hand it off gently to the Megs. And the Icaria.
It's gonna roll your hard work into a blunt and hand it off gently.
You've been losing this game to them for 3 decades straight. But I can see you still haven't gotten used to it.
Of course not. Who the hell would just roll over for those upstart bootlicking? Goddamn fox, smirking behind his perfumed incenses and painted screens and sheets of gold leaf.
His perfumed insects.
Should have cut out his eyes when I had the chance.
I'm acquainted with the Hound. Who's the Fox? Should we conduct a survey of all the IFD members' back tattoos?
Fox! Kitsune! Goddamn Daisuke Ikaria, of course.
The family's patriarch. Haven't had the chance to meet him in person.
Ah, knew there had to be a reason an Ikaria lawyer didn't already stink of cigar smoke.
Athonite does smoke, despite my repeated warnings about the health hazards. Have you had your olfactory checkup lately? The loss of smell can be the first sign of... I don't stink, that's the takeaway. Now admit it, you want to capture Makoto Ikaria so you can afford to ride Nirvana to legitimacy.
I don't want to capture Makoto Ikaria. You know our history?
In brief.
So what part of that summary made you think that if I had the chance to end the Ikari in line, I wouldn't take it immediately?
Are you speaking for yourself, or for the whole old guard?
Nah, my turn to ask. Is the Hound gonna make it?
You asking about my legal defense strategy?
His injuries. Any chance he's gonna keel over from an infection after Creek's pod worked him over? If Bresson somehow managed to nick him?
He is still recovering from the injuries he sustained when captured, but he was not harmed during the incident in the courtroom today. Yeah, Bresson didn't even manage a scratch.
Not a scratch, huh? Didn't even get a shot off?
A detective on the scene responded before he could.
A detective?
Yes, why?
Not worth wasting a question on him, of all people.
Speaking of which, the bottle spun back around.
I didn't catch that the first time I played this.
The hint towards...
That makes it sound like she knows exactly who did it.
Oh yeah. Very intriguing. Are the Blue Bloods working with the Chopin family to profit off of Proposition 492?
Ha! You missed that one. Try another.
Sick Germa reference.
No. Darn it! There was! I could have tried to do it like the actual reference tone. You missed that one. Try another. God, she would be referencing old memes. I'm pretty sure that she has to be like about as old as we would be.
Yeah.
Given her implications.
What do you mean?
You think Mr. and Mr. Chopin are working hand in hand with us for a little cross-class embezzling? Those rich pricks wouldn't piss on us if we were on fire, and the feeling's mutual.
But they're backing Proposition 492. If you could buy the land they need before the city knows that it needs it. The Chopin family aren't your collaborators. For some reason, I did think that was Kim for a moment. They're your marks.
Bingo, kid gets a prize.
Or they were. The plan's worthless now. That whole courtroom heard me explain how Creek had red ink documents on Proposition 492. Whatever blueprints, whatever land the city had in mind, they'll change all of it.
Thanks for that, by the way.
Don't blame me. Your plan was always fragile.
And was always cringe.
It was destined to collapse the moment that anyone with more pull than a ticketing officer heard that Blue Bloods had eyes on the real estate. Meaning the Blue Bloods would kill to keep those documents from circulating.
Yeah, well, that's just how it goes for Plan Bs.
Plan B?
Answer me this. What did you see on the red ink docs that tipped our hand about Prop 492?
Well, it was mentioned in abbreviation, if not in name. P492. That was a pretty big giveaway.
You must add more to go on than that. Names, diagrams.
I saw Councilman Long's name on there.
Long. That sloppy bastard.
Wait, you didn't know what was on those papers? Not exactly. You didn't know where Prop 492 leaked from.
What are you saying? It leaked from that brat Creek, obviously.
Red ink means it was printed off from somewhere you trust in a place run by people you trusted. And it doesn't sound like you trusted Creek.
These your questions? Because they're terrible. And pointless. Blondie's already dead.
So, Chopin wasn't in on the plan. What possibilities are left then? Might as well try asking while I have the chance. My client overheard something interesting during his captivity. Talk of the Blue Bloods bringing in a huntsman.
Fake. And you don't even know what that means. Client heard wrong, and you're a fool for believing him without any proof.
Sorry, guess he misheard. He must have also misheard that you'd brought a no-mask into the city. Did Sasuke mention that? It's called a bluff, Sarah. Yeah, he must have been delirious. After all, if there had been a no-mask at the crime scene, it would have turned up during the police investigation.
Huntsman. Ridiculous. Maybe he's real, maybe he's fake, maybe he's already behind you. Phantoms like that get their power from uncertainty. If I answered your question at all, that'd be your answer.
Schrodinger's box is already open, though, and the mask isn't there anymore. If it's not in the hands of the huntsman, then who has it?
A dead man. Who just doesn't know it yet. Final round.
But what if we still want to ask?
Our house, my rules. Who hired you?
Why would she spend her final question on that? It feels like it would be relevant whether it was someone asking on, like, official house business, but it was, like... I mean, whether it was someone asking officially versus Makoto very... seemingly asking for personal reasons. Makoto Karia, if that wasn't already clear.
Uh-huh. You, some no-name nobody with no connections to any of the families. The preteen heir looked you up and hired you to defend his hound. Either you're dumber than you look or just less curious than a lobotomite, but either way, than the world's okayest lobotomite. You really don't know the answer, do you?
No, I don't, which I can freely admit. So why does having it pointed out to me feel like such a defeat? Come to think of it, I have one last question myself.
That ain't the deal.
Then it can be rhetorical. What are you going to do? You lost all your heirs during the fall of the leaves. Adane? You're reviled by the international blue bloods for locking your treasure behind GFA you can't crack. Now all of the old guard need transplants and transfusions from the first and second gens just to stay alive. And they won't be glad to keep that up forever. Eventually you, all of you, will die. Will you rest in peace, knowing everything you ever managed to build will be laundered at, what, 30%?
30%.
35%, just to end up in the hands of some punks you tutored?
What a nice young girl you are, worrying about your elders. Well, don't worry your pretty little head over it, dear. Sweet Granny here. Oh, over, dear Sweet Granny here. She's a mean old bitch in a line of work where anyone stupid dies off young. She and hers are gonna be just fine. Don't forget to close your tab before you go.
Did you get any useful information from your rhetorical question, Adane? The question irritated her, but it didn't make her despair. I may have misread this. The old guard have a way forward. Proposition 492 is no longer an option, leaving them with Plan A. The Little Lord? But Tariq Chopin is dead. Yeah, he is. Oh, just want to peek her profile real quick.
Oh, shoot. Okay, hold on.
March 26th is coming up. Good for her. Small business owner, in quotes. Likes persimmon, handbags, joint cracking. Dislikes part-timers, binge-watching, ad vandalism. Hidden talent can slice an onion paper thin in 11 seconds. Relaxes by shooting clay pigeons. Motto, promote from within. Dislikes part-timers. Supports nepotism. I started making the joke before I remembered the word, so I almost said narcolepsy.
say. After all they put him through down there in that festering hole of a city district. To try and kill Sosuke in the courtroom of all places. The nerve of those blue blood scum.
If we just wait for him to stop, we'll be standing here until morning. So, should we speak up? I don't know. I'm terrible with children. Listen, just keep nodding, and if he calms down enough to ask a non-rhetorical question, get my attention. What are you going to do? Try consulting an expert. What do kids your age like?
Not my B-day.
I'm not asking for you.
And I'm not a kid. I wouldn't know. If it's for Sarah. I'm not a robot either.
What would someone younger than you like?
IDK. Even one grade below me. Their sense of humor is impenetrable. Other day, the school announced they're going to be doing test prep at every grade level. And the top comment, before it got deleted, was a picture of a fish with boots. And the caption was, battering and frying me in oil for 4 minutes on each side.
It's not that impenetrable. It's a very basic non sequitur.
How's this for non sequitur? Go ask someone else.
All you did there was get back on topic.
It was full sequitur. Why are you even asking?
I've been hired by a youth,
Youth!
and I need to interrupt their temper tantrum.
Well, what do you want me to do from here? Act them some fork knife bucks?
What is that? Would that work?
Also, what do you mean a youth hired you? Oh. They must be like rich?
Yes.
I'm like the worst to ask for advice then. What do I know about rich kids?
Your academy is full of them.
Why do you think I do as much of my schoolwork as possible for my dorm?
Don't you at least have a roommate?
Nope. Never got assigned one. Guess it was some kind of unavoidable computer error on their end.
Extremely rare stressed Morgan face. This is hopeless.
You're usually good at gift giving and shit. Buttering up judges. Bribing court officials. Slipping coins into viziers' purses.
You have a very antiquated view of what my work entails. Medieval, in fact.
Harry Bast, do you know him?
Whatever photo that is failed to send.
You mean? I mean, what would you do if they were a rich adult? Flatter them or whatever.
Rich adults are used to people wanting their money. Flattery puts them on guard.
So what's the approach?
You approach them as though you already work for them. Pretend you're a butler. acting on wordless commands they've given without an original thought in your head. They aren't suspicious of anyone they feel like they already own.
That mostly makes sense. To do that. They probably got more in common with a rich adult than kids their own age. Well, you know. Anyone else with a soul. Unless there's some reason you can't do your iconic butler technique here. Ironic butler technique.
I think Morgan could be one hell of a butler.
That's just like it.
Because I don't want to act subservient to a child. Sasuke did strain himself slightly when he tried to tackle me to the ground, but that was the extent of it. Yes, as my ad says, no one was hurt. Well, the attacker was part of an officer-involved shooting, but no one else was hurt.
Well, then perhaps we should all just forgive all and make peace. Those fools will regret their actions. The anger of the house, once roused, is not easily satisfied.
Shit, I thought there was a lull, but he's ready to start back up again.
As Sun Tzu says,
if your opponent is of choleric temper, seek to irritate him.
well, yes, but...
Please calm yourself, Makoto of House Ikaria. We need to speak with you.
About what?
About Sosuke.
You think he's done something to deserve this?
That's not what I...
There's nothing Sosuke could have done to justify what the Blue Bloods have put him through.
I assumed as much, but... Makoto has no idea what the Hound of Ikaria was doing up until a year ago, does he?
These questions are foolish. I'll not waste my time.
A wise man can learn more from a foolish question than a fool can learn from a wise answer.
Quote the Bhagavad Gita all you want, robot girl. It is not very impressive for a machine to...
Bruce Lee said that.
Well, she was probably paraphrasing at the time.
Will you help us or not, Makoto? Please.
If it's for Sosuke.
Whoa.
Okay. I think this is... Hold on, I need to go to the opposite of stream if I'm right. Enough.
Electric blue irises flash a deadly glare. The room's shadows seem to extend in his presence, curling and deepening like ink dropped into water.
Oh my god, is that a cigar-like vape?
This bit of narration also feels like when you get, like... when you're facing a new monster in Monster Hunter Rise, so they give you, like, a poem about it. That's a gangster.
Oh god. Chairman!
You don't have to take Daisuke, I can take Daisuke.
No, I'll do it. I'll do it.
A grand power of yours.
All of you, show some respect now.
He says it out of practice without actually looking around the room. One glance would have shown him there was no need to demand respect. Every head was already bowed. This is a man who is used to others not meeting his eyes.
The rest of you get lost.
Their practiced obedience didn't betray them. They all slipped away into the halls of the complex without so much as a creak on the floorboards. And even so, their anxiety was screaming at me like a bad tale begging to be taken advantage of. His presence here today was not expected.
Now then. Come here, Makoto-tan. Grandpa! How are things on the front lines, huh?
Makoto is the heir, so the chairman is his grandfather, of course, but
My little warlord, making his enemies tremble with fear every time he sets foot out the door.
I was not expecting the head of a house of nobility to be so affectionate.
I thought you and father were still in the capital. Well, we were. And we made a lot of powerful people in that city very frustrated while we were at it. It made a lot of frustrating people very powerful, I'm sure. Wish I had seen their dumb faces solemnly nodding when I canceled my meetings. Just to fly home and see my grandson.
Oh.
Chairman, apologies for the lack of an introduction. This is... I know exactly who she is. She's our lawyer. Any good? She is not entirely incompetent.
I would hope you could say more than that.
And she's also somewhat perceptive, Chairman. Knows when to keep her mouth shut, clearly. How bad can she be?
I'm just doing what comes naturally.
Her methods are odd. She came here to ask me about Sosuke for some reason. Not another word. Chairman? Back in the storehouse on the second floor, there's a cask of sake that I won at a drinking game 5 or... I suppose it's been 6 years ago now. Would you go and fetch it for your grandfather? Of course, but... Old trick of the trade. One sip and anything we tell him becomes inadmissible in court. I see. Very clever, Chairman.
Makoto is allowed to drink sake?
Hell's wrong with you? Of course he can't drink. It's the ceremony of it all, damn it. Understood. I'll go retrieve it right away. Have one of the layabouts that were here in here fetch you a ladder first. Make them in their keep for once. Put on a suit and a pair of glasses and you think you can just stand there for the rest of your career, you lazy. Read your damn emails, you got nothing better to do.
Should we be seated a certain way for... There is no cask of sake. Oh. But then the strategy of becoming intoxicated in order to avoid...
Made that up. The source is I made it the fuck up. You're the lawyer. There any truth to what I said?
Source, it came to me once in a dream. No need for tricks like that. Attorney-client privilege already binds my hands. I'm working for House Ikaria right now, Sarah. I mean, hell. Makoto could confess to me that he's a mass murderer and I wouldn't be able to tell a soul. So then why did you send Makoto away, Mr. Chairman, sir?
I want to walk the gardens.
Are we supposed to follow him? He left that part unsaid. How can you tell? Hey, quick strategy meeting. You know what a butler is, right?
Finally, a way I can deal with things.
I'm glad you have such an appreciation for attorney-client privilege, sir. It makes these conversations go much smoother. But if you trust privilege so much, why don't you trust your grandson to be here?
Don't kid yourself, Copper. That boy's the future of this family. If I didn't trust him, there'd be no point to any of this. Everything I built. Dynasties aren't dynasties unless you manage to actually pass them down.
What you've built in the last 30 years is undeniably impressive. It must have required astonishing brutality.
Progress is brutality. And history is unkind to the gentle.
Is that why you orchestrated the fall of the leaves? To get your name in the history books?
Orchestrated. So grand. So full of it. We knocked on their doors, and when they opened them, we shot them. Walked up to them on the street and split their stomachs wide. Pulled up beside them and let loose full auto on their limos. It wasn't anything as complicated as orchestrated. I executed.
Let's go ahead and take a peek at that now that we finally get it. January 25th? Wow. We haven't gotten this sprite in conversation, but it's very striking. Occupation CEO of the IFG likes bodybuilding, archery, bonsai, dislikes phones at the dinner table, undefeated at enduring, crossed out, enjoying spicy food, smells like cedar, tobacco, iron and dried blood. Both? Handshake, vice-like.
I mean, blood has an iron tinge to its smell.
Yeah. He's got it going on too.
Look, I can't lie to you. If an evil-looking old lady smelled like that, I would.
Yep.
Anyway. And my uncle named me his successor for it.
Hold on. Okay. I accidentally clicked out of the window, so I had to make sure I didn't mess anything up on OBS. The Blue Bloods weren't even able to put up a fight.
They were worried about handshake events and social media perception. Thought that their friends in high places would be there when they needed them. Thought they had already won.
So how'd you get away with it?
Good timing. Notices a leaky faucet and a downpour.
This was right before the Red Decade got underway?
And once the borders started locking up, there was no chance of reinforcements. We never saw it coming. We didn't know there was a bubble. We didn't think things would get that bad. That's what they always say. The losers.
Well, there he is.
Scapegoats paraded in front of courts and cameras to meekly reassure the national audience that no, you couldn't have done anything. You did everything right, so did we. We're all victims of uncontrollable market forces here. Stale bread for a piss-poor circus. With a pity party instead of proper gladiators. I saw the signs. More importantly, I didn't ignore them. Droughts from heaven, no grain in the storehouses. There'd only be room for one family of thieves in this city, and I made sure it was mine. Last call, all aboard.
And everything you built since? Renogen, Aurea Holdings, the legitimate half you're so proud of?
That was the easy part, actually. Reprivatizing an industry is tricky business. How do you break up a state-controlled monopoly into a healthy, diverse, and competitive private marketplace?
How?
Oh no, I'll let you know if they ever pull it off. The shit show they did go with was easily gamed. Sprinkle some cash in the right bureaucrats' pockets, and we were able to snap up entire economies wholesale.
We being the neobility?
If that's the term you prefer.
Done anyway, is he confessing? He's not confessing, Sarah. This is bragging. Mr. Icaria, I'm not looking to take up too much of your time, but perhaps you could help me understand something. The inciting incident, as they say. In screenwriting. They say it elsewhere too, probably. A year ago, you extended an olive branch to the Blue Bloods over Nirvana. Was it genuine?
My curiosity was genuine.
But not your financing? Is that why it fell apart? Why Makoto was attacked?
Fell apart because those first gens and young bloods of theirs are hothead idiots who can't follow orders. But I expected as much, which is why I ordered my hound to be present, on standby.
But he didn't assassinate anyone that day, did he?
No.
Instead, Sosuke stepped in front of a blade that was headed for Makoto. And he's been guarding the boy with his life ever since. Was that your order as well?
My order, yes. Not my idea. But I'm the patriarch, not a dictator. If my sweet siblings and darling nieces and nephews make an earnest request, who am I to refuse?
You had to be pressured into letting Sosuke guard Makoto. Weren't you concerned about Makoto's safety?
Of course I was. I just know the best place for the queen is on the attack, not hopping around the king's sides blocking checks. This motherfucker called Sosuke a queen.
The queen, huh? Yeah, I was thinking his tits looked pretty perky too, but I wasn't gonna say anything. Hey, chess metaphor, help me out. Any piece can sacrifice themselves, but there's only one queen and she has by far the most mobility. It is better to keep her out in the open ideally, near the center of the field where she can attack freely. At least, assuming you subscribe to... Okay, got it. But here's the question. Why have the Blue Bloods kept trying to capture Makoto for over a year now? Because of some hot-tempered idiots?
What's your answer? Why do you think they would want to capture our little Makotan?
Oh... The Blue Bloods aren't lacking in motives for revenge. A bloody culling followed by 3 decades of humiliation is more than enough. But the most fitting revenge would involve them killing Makoto, not taking him captive. And while I can imagine plenty of ways to extract revenge from a living subject, gangs have to maintain a balance between being feared and being tolerated. If the Blue Bloods proudly tortured a child to death, they'd be run out of the lower wards by their own constituents. Amazing. Mission complete.
That's why you're the best, boss.
I don't remember the details on the ransom. If they took Makoto captive, they could extort the Ikaria for a king's ransom. Once. After that, the Ikaria would make them pay in every other way. And even if the price tag was big enough to ease all the Blue Bloods' woes, the resulting gang war would drain the coffers all the same. People can easily kill for money, but for them to take Makoto hostage... If they were literally out for Makoto's blood, they'd want a steady supply. Mirai suggested they'd try for an arranged marriage down the line, but... Kim didn't seem interested in anything of the sort.
Well?
They wouldn't want to capture Makoto. They don't. A certain mama said as much to my face. They'd much rather kill your sole heir than capture him.
It's what I'd do. If they had any heirs left. Here's where I'd kill their heirs. If they had any.
But then why keep attacking Makoto if not to capture or kill him? Their goal's never been Makoto. It's just that every time they've gone after their goal, Makoto's been there. You mean... Put another way, the purpose of an operation is what the operation accomplishes. They've been trying to capture Sosuke for over a year. The other day, they finally succeeded.
You think those idiot punks wanted to take my hound alive?
I don't think. I know, because that's literally what they did.
I don't think you know either.
They captured Sosuke and brought him down to the lower wards.
To torture him. Idiots. If they don't talk after the third, they'll never talk at all.
The third what? It wasn't just any blue bloods that tortured him. It was a pod led by a young blood named Creek.
Young, old, bound by blood or water, they're all the same scum.
As you say, but I've learned that there are some pretty big ideological rifts among that scum. The Youngbloods captured him, no doubt, on Old Guard orders, but just an hour ago, an Old Guard was asking after Sosuke's health. They didn't want him harmed.
Generous interpretation.
I'm guessing the Youngbloods knew that, but they tortured him anyway. Probably because they wanted to know why they've been repeatedly ordered to capture him.
Out with it. Why would they want my hound?
What the Blue Bloods want, ultimately, is simple. So simple that my android can answer this one. I can. What do the Blue Bloods need right now more than anything? A lot of money. Without which they can't invest in legalized nirvana.
Such a shame. We'll be happy to pick up where they left off.
So at a time when they need money, they're throwing their young bloods at capturing Sosuke. Ergo, capturing Sosuke must open a path for them to get their hands on lots of cash. I think it's clicked for me, but I'm gonna wait and see if they lay it out. On the path that they're on.
I looked away for a few days and suddenly my hound skyrocketed in value. Who do I have to thank? Who raised the price on his head to such a degree?
What about Sosuke makes him so valuable? Who raised the price on Sosuke's head? You did. 30 years ago, you made him irreplaceable when you killed everyone else who shared a drop of his blood. Yup. I can predict anything. Sosuke is the Little Lord. Last descendant of the Blue Bloods' ruling families, and the only person on Earth who can get them back their fortunes.
Hell of a shot in the dark.
You gonna deny it? Sarah, when did the attacks, supposedly on Makoto, begin? About a year ago. What else happened about a year ago? The meeting between the Blue Bloods and the Ikaria that fell into chaos. Makoto made it out without a scratch. But only because Sosuke stepped in front of a blade for him. I can assume that Sosuke is an impressive martial artist. With very well-defined pectorals and collarbones.
Ah, with fat titties.
But even he must have left blood on the floor that day.
Yeah, he bled that day, but it's not as if he bled blue. You telling me the old guard could just smell the resemblance?
They didn't need intuition or guesswork. The private security organization, Sinus, is in the business of securing crime scenes, cleaning them up, and performing paternity tests. Could have been a whim. Could have been they were hoping to match him to DNA left at other hound attacks. Who knows? But I would pay good money to have been a fly on their wall when they saw the results. Not because I really care that much, but because I would have been a little bug. His reaction to this information is not very strong. That's to be expected. I just told him a bunch of information that he already knew. He already knew Sosuke was the Little Lord. That chess metaphor you used a minute ago might have sounded like solid reasoning if I actually played.
But I'm stupid.
Unfortunately for you, I find the game boring. No fog of war. No. So it struck me as very odd that a grandfather like you, equal parts doting and calculating. Whatever places Air's safety below concerns as vague as optimal play. You didn't object to Sosuke guarding Makoto because you wanted to keep your hound. You just couldn't convince the rest of the house it was a bad idea without revealing who Sosuke really is. If he knew Sosuke was the real target and would keep getting attacked, then having him guard Makoto would actually be putting Makoto in danger.
You know, bonsai look like miniature trees, but they aren't. They're shrubs. You condition it to look like a miniature tree by pruning it daily until it stops trying to grow into what it's meant to be, and instead lives as what you want it to be. The Blue Blood's 30 years to figure out my scheme, and you solved it in, what, 48 hours? You deserve a toast. I wish that sake was in the storeroom. Instead, as a reward for your effort, I'll give you a story. 30 years ago, I saw the future. I have to say real quick, my wife played this chapter before I did, and when it started and someone being called Hound was called a rickety old model and being beat up in the dark, my brain was, did I walk into some Mexplo bullshit? And then my wife was like, I think you're reading into it. No, you didn't. And then I got here, and it's like, oh god, I walked into some Mexplo bullshit.
Yeah, it's really...
Well, a good thing I'm normal about it.
That's right.
Not in statistics or stock prices or in consumer confidence indexes. I saw it in people's eyes. Fear and delusion. Sinking feeling that maybe everything really is made of bullshit and seafoam. And that if you ever stop to look down at it, you'll fall through to the bottom. Can't warn people. They won't believe you. They'll strangle you to death for implying their boat might have a leak. Only thing to do in times like those, take advantage. For 1 year we pulled back. No resistance, no bargaining. We let the Blue Bloods hungrily swallow what we left behind. For 1 full year we withdrew and waited and sharpened our knives. 1 year of preparation for 1 weekend in August. Hottest August on record. They left all the goddamn windows open. So it went fast. We'd show up, get to work, leave the mess for whoever cared to see it, and drive up to the next address. I did 22 myself. And if you asked me back then, I couldn't tell you the first thing about any of them. Except for the 22nd. She had firm eyes. Cold eyes. No, not that harsh. Cool eyes. Like condensation on steel. She was very brave. When I took aim at her, she blinked. Not even upset, just exasperated. Like I'd neglected to hold the door for her. My mouth was dry. Felt like I hadn't spoken all day. Had to clear my throat to speak up so she could hear me over the babbling of the river she'd fled to. And the shots in the distance. I had to ask her why. Why out here? Why not in a panic room? Why she was wearing a medical gown and why her thighs were covered in blood. But instead I just asked, why aren't you afraid? She said, I can't be afraid. I'm a mom now. I always liked that answer. So when the pistol stopped ringing in my ears and I heard the baby wailing in the bushes, I felt inspired. It's tradition in our family going back centuries that the eldest child be guarded from birth by a nursemaid, typically from a branch family. My wife would be due soon, and the Hayakawa clan, head and had been an unfortunate casualty of that month. There was an opening.
Expertly done. But why let him live? Don't I?
So that I could invent the Little Lord. Build your opponent a golden bridge to retreat across.
You started the rumors about a survivor?
So long as those fools still had hope they could reclaim their former glory, they'd never rally themselves into chipping away at ours. If they ever did become a real threat again, I'd have the world's most valuable hostage ready to put them back in check.
You turned your enemy's last hope into a meat shield for your family, and eventually your personal attack dog.
That was just a bonus. The heir had come of age, and so had Sosuke. He was free to choose any career in the family business at that point. He became the Hound of his own accord.
I'm sure. But that's just irrelevant at the end of the day. What? It helps me understand why the Blue Bloods have done what they have, but it doesn't put me any closer to proving Sasuke's innocence. That Sasuke is their little lord. If we tell people, won't that change anything? Well, for starters, we won't have any of this in court.
Of course not. Can't exactly go telling the court about my exploits 30 years ago. Not when we have attorney-client privilege.
But if you use your influence, if you reach out to the Blue Bloods...
What? We'll work together to set Sosuke free? I killed everyone he could ever consider family, Copper. Besides a few old crooks waiting to die, anyone who shares a drop of his blood is in the ground. Most of them put there by me. I did all of that to sink the Blue Bloods. Now they're finally ready to die. You think I'd just throw them a lifeline to protect one man? Just to keep one man out of prison?
He's right. I'm not allowed to disclose anything I've learned here without his express permission.
It would complicate the tax suit against my family terribly if it came out that I lied about a blood relation, wouldn't it? Sosuke's in the will, after all.
That's the law.
Didn't mean to run you in circles, honestly. I would have preferred you never wasted your time unearthing any of this. That's what I get for relying on him to deliver a message, I suppose.
You're the one who wanted me to keep my investigation limited.
I thought you'd get the picture and hurry up and make a plea deal. Negotiate the charges down to manslaughter. Get this all squared away so we could focus on fighting this damn audit.
Audit? Sasuke is on trial for his life.
Sosuke's sworn to protect his family with his life. I'm respecting his wishes.
If he does go to prison, the Blue Bloods will die knowing their little lord is alive, but permanently beyond their reach, rotting in a cell for killing their own men in defense of their own worst enemy. I can see why you wouldn't mind that outcome.
A hostage that you're never willing to sacrifice isn't a hostage, just a babysitting gig. He spared his life 30 years ago. This doesn't even cover his interest.
Sasuke's always just been a tool for you. A hostage you'd protect until the perfect use came along.
I've always wondered, do tools appreciate that part? When they're used properly? What do you think, Copper? Does Sosuke have any complaints?
That doesn't make sense.
Huh?
Sasuke is a veteran. He served in the military. Did you grant your hostage permission to go risk his life for his country instead of you?
It's not like he was one of those Minutemen they throw at walls. He was never in any real danger.
What about as your hound? Deadly assassination and infiltration missions. He could have died during any of them. Why let your perfect hostage, your obedient tool, take on such dangerous work? Why give him your last name? Why let him live under your roof, raise him like a son? Why trust him with protecting the life of your son, your grandson? Why are you lying and pretending you don't... Pardon my android's outburst, sir. I'll have to adjust your conversational parameters later.
Don't bother. Just rip its voice box out entirely if it's gonna speak over a man under his own roof.
Ugh.
Goddamn copper. Next, the furniture will be telling me what I feel about my own damn family. Raise him like a son. What bullshit. I have no son. Counselor, do your damn job and tell Sosuke to do his. Now. Oh, but didn't get to now.
I'm sorry. That wasn't very butler-like behavior just now. It's fine. It was a good play in that moment. But do you think he meant that? I don't know. Do you think he meant it when he said he has no son? Makoto is Daisuke's grandson. If he has no sons, then the previous heir that Sosuke grew up guarding must have been... Makoto's mother. Is it safe to assume everyone in your family has severe trust issues?
I have no issues with trust myself. But, as you've seen, the house has a very particular preference when it comes to information siloing.
Fancy words. You could have just told me who you are.
I told you my name and my position in the house. Is it relevant that I'm married? That I'm a mother? Should I be flattered?
You told me you work for Oria Holdings. You didn't mention you're at least the second most powerful member of the house.
If I had to tell people that, it wouldn't really be true now, would it?
You could have told me your relation to Sosuke. He guarded you every day of your life up until you were...
19.
19? He's your goddamn brother.
Let's say that.
So that message you wanted me to pass along. If you see a way out, take it. You wanted him to try and make a deal with the Blue Bloods to get out from under the house?
If Sosuke merely gave them what they wanted, I'm sure there would be dozens of Blue Bloods ready to confess to the crimes he's accused of.
So you know. You knew. And if you thought he could parse that message, that means Sosuke...
He's not an unintelligent man. Merely stubborn about all the most frustrating things.
What do the Blue Bloods want from Sosuke, precisely? A blood donation?
One sample will not suffice. They need to be able to validate their accounts when called for.
Daily blood donations, then.
I told you. The old guard want to become nobility. How did they cement alliances amongst the aristocracy of old?
They want Sosuke to marry. But the old guard are old.
Guard. Sosuke's already got as much blue in his veins as they could ask for. They don't need him to marry into them. They need him to marry into power.
Not the worst thing to have asked of you.
Have you ever been in an arranged marriage? Don't call it a gift.
You were the heir apparent up until Makoto was born. All that time, Sosuke was your bodyguard?
And driver. Poison taster, though he most often entailed me giving him concoctions to try. But his assignment actually ended when I married.
Subtracting Makoto's age, that had to have been over a decade ago. So he joined the military the moment he didn't have to shadow you anymore? And after he got back, he asked to become the Hound? Guy must really hate guard duty.
He must.
Back up a moment. Your father didn't want me uncovering Sosuke's parentage. Most likely because he didn't want Sosuke to know the strength of his own bargaining position. But he told me to pass Sosuke a message that he'd only understand if he already knew who his parents were. So how long has he known? And how long have you known he's known? And when did Daisuke cease knowing who knows what?
Around the time Sosuke left for the military.
Hell of a thing to find out at your entrance physical.
It was before he left for the military, actually.
Did that influence his decision? Sosuke finds out he could be the richest man in the city, and then he wants to risk dying in battle. Quite the guilty class consciousness. Consciousness? Oh.
Yeah.
Quite the guilty class consciousness.
I don't know exactly what did or didn't influence his decision to join the military back then. You'd have to ask him. I apologize for any gaps in knowledge you've had to work around. But hopefully you now understand how delicate of a situation you found yourself in.
Yeah, I can smell the explosives and hear the fuses sizzling. I just don't get why no one's gone over to stomp them out. If Sosuke's known this whole time why the Blue Bloods wanted to capture him, why didn't he tell us? Because he's a stubborn man working for a highly secretive family. That I get. What I don't get is why he didn't defect the moment he learned the truth.
Who knows? You'll have to work out the rest with him. I've given you all the aid my position allows.
I suppose it was kind of you to share information with us at all. Being in charge of the legitimate side of your family, you don't have any connection with this incident yourself. No connection with this incident? That's not quite accurate.
Pardon?
You do have a connection to this case, even if you yourself don't realize it. I found a note by the body of the Blue Blood who took Sosuke captive. It read, "Im Ikaria."
This was one of the men who attacked my son. I'd imagine a note with his name is the least of what you found.
And they've never been after your son, not once. It's always been about capturing Sosuke, and Makoto's just been in the crossfire. Which Sosuke knows, which explains his reluctance to accept the responsibility of guarding Makoto. So I seriously doubt this dead man was interested in Makoto Ikaria. Mirei Ikaria, however,
has no relation to the world that dead men lived in. That was decided the day she was born.
but you do have a relation to Rinnegan. Makoto mentioned your family was given one seat on the board as a show of respect. I take it that's a deception too? You may have let Rinnegan go public, but you've never given up control of it. The rest of the board must be your family's puppets. But that doesn't matter. What matters is what Rinnegan makes and the prices it charges. Rinnegan is best known for the patenting of metformin.
A patent which expired years ago. Plenty of other companies making it now.
And yet the price hasn't gone down.
Invisible hand sets the price where it will.
Sure, but this is your invisible hand. A normal corporation couldn't strong-arm its competitors into keeping prices high. That'd be operating as a cartel. But the reincarnation of the Icaria drug cartel would know exactly how to go about that without getting caught.
If that were true, it'd be much easier than you make it out to be. The right email signature, the right package delivered to the right address, the right look. These executive types scare easily when the perceived threat is anything bordering on the physical. Of course, it helps that the end result is we all profit immensely. But yes, metformin is very lucrative. What of it?
That dead man, Creek, had a brother with expensive tuition and TAD. Type A abnormal diabetes. He'll need metformin for the rest of his life.
And he really ought to choose the proper insurance plan, don't you think?
I don't get the impression that family member coverage is a benefit the Blue Bloods offer.
I suppose even the Mob Act has its limits. Yes, one could find the name of M. Icaria in relation to the Religion Board if they looked hard enough. So you think this Creek individual was going to threaten me? Come up to me on the street with a knife, a gun? He wouldn't get within 100 meters.
I don't doubt that. Now the rest of this is speculation, but he might have just wanted to contact you.
That would have been even less likely for it to succeed.
So you truly don't care that his brother needs this medicine? Sasuke is like a brother to you, and you've gone out of your way to try to help him even when you stand to gain nothing from it.
Yes, I wouldn't expect my enemies to be impressed by the effort, but I wouldn't expect.
How would you feel if they laughed at your efforts? My apologies, new android, still adapting to conversation.
You know what we sold back before Renogen? Before the facade of nobility, back when we were the Icaria cartel?
Opioids?
Yes, it was still legal back then. But not for everyone. Take the exact same compounds, put them in an extended release pill, and sell it at the pharmacy. And that's just pain management. It's all the same poison, equally addictive whether you get it from a dealer or a doctor. Have you ever seen someone go through opioid withdrawal? Like taking a wine opener to your stomach for 7 days straight, they testified. Pain like that eats people alive, slowly, and replaces them with something unrecognizable. A loving parent would steal from their own child if they thought it could buy them release from that kind of pain. Painkillers. What a joke.
Does Renogen produce painkillers?
No, we do not. People die if they don't get the medicine they need, and I'm sure their family mourns them. But addicts die a little more every day of their life until the day they finally fade out forever. And their family feels disgusted with themselves for breathing a sigh of relief. Plenty of kinds of evil in this world, little girl. Plenty to choose from. For real people like us, if you don't choose, the choice is made for you. Now wipe that look off your face and access the following address. Renogen.main.financing.prescriptionfinancingoptions.outofpocket.apply.
You have that memorized. But this portal is...
Not listed or linked to anywhere on the site. I know, but it still works fine. By law, we have to have it, but we can't be blamed if the website is poorly designed. If you know any despondent crybaby college students looking for coupons to help pay for medication, they might want to start there.
Thank you. Unforeseen side effects reveal a hidden connection between warring... ... Actually, I guess I could go look at that right now if I want to see the full...
Between warring ellipses.
Warring parties, yeah. I guess I didn't expect it to be much more complicated than that.
Don't thank me. Don't. I can't stand it. Just save Sosuke's life.
Don't know how you pulled that off. Adane. They do consistently refer to themselves as a house. Perhaps they simply value family more than you think. Did he have something else? Type 2 abnormal diabetes is a subset of the autoimmune disorder diabetes, first discovered in the mid-21st century, characterized by the body's inability to regulate its own blood glucose levels. While type 1 diabetes is largely due to genetic factors, and type 2 is acquired by poor diet and exercise. I don't think it's quite that simple.
It extremely isn't, or else I would have diabetes when my father and sister both did.
Yeah. Mostly believed to result from childhood exposure to specific artificial sweeteners and seemingly cannot be reversed. Exactly which artificial sweeteners contribute to the disease is still not well understood, but the disease's increased prevalence in urban food deserts is well documented. The most severe symptoms of TAD can be managed through diet and exercise, but even then the peripheral neuropathy, deterioration of nerves and limbs, and overall fatigue can be debilitating. TAD can be treated with a variety of medicines, but the most commonly prescribed is metformin, as it can be ingested as a daily pill rather than injected like many comparable drugs. The cost of TAD medications is a well-known issue, particularly in urban communities with high youth populations. While Renogen's original patent on metformin has expired and there are generic versions of the medication freely available, prices remain high even for drugs produced by direct competitors for reasons that remain unclear.
How mysterious.
Renogen has maintained that metformin is sold at the proper market value and has suggested that state-mandated quality control processes are to blame for the inflated costs that drug manufacturers are forced to pass on to consumers. Users also frequently searched for tingling sensation fingers why, how to get health insurance, what does health insurance actually even do? But admittedly, like, it is worth remembering that the terms are pretty explicitly like in-game search engine results, not necessarily meant to be dictionary accurate.
Especially because they're usually filled with explicit winking at the audience that it's bullshit.
And in-universe advertising. No, close to an hour later. Probably less. The two of those conversations weren't, or three of those conversations weren't short.
He looks happy.
So, where should we begin?
What do you mean? I'm afraid I don't have anything new to tell you.
Stubborn about all the most frustrating things, was it? I'm your lawyer, Sosuke. We're sworn to always do what's best for our clients, their rights, and their privacy. To an extent that many consider extreme, we are unable to disclose incriminating or otherwise problematic information that our clients give to us, no matter the circumstances. This whole system is designed to benefit the defendant. So it really upsets me when I find out that my clients are lying to me about vital information that could help me save their lives.
You're troubled by the nature of my work as the Hound.
You're adopted.
Yes, from the Hayakawa.
That's bullshit. You know it, I know it. And people whose opinions you respect know it. Fine. All members of the military have extensive DNA samples on record. If I subpoena...
Alright, stop. Just stop.
Does the military keep all its members' DNA on record? I don't know. Probably, right?
Yes, I know what you were referring to. Even before I knew, I did wonder.
If you've known about your real family for more than a decade, why haven't you ever...
Because it doesn't matter.
Try telling that to the Blue Bloods. They've been risking a gang war for over a year trying to get to you.
That's their choice. It has nothing to do with me.
It's a free country.
It's a free country.
How can you... I'm appalled, Sosuke. How could a brave soldier serving the House of Ikaria allow violence to continue when he knows he could stop it?
Worthy attempt, counselor.
Sorry. Guess I'm not used to having to persuade people to act in their own best interest. Or that of their family.
Family? The Ikaria raised me, fed me, taught me how to read, write, walk. They gave me a home, a purpose.
They're using you.
They need me.
They've got a funny way of showing it.
I owe everything to them, and nothing to the dead.
They're only dead because the man you call a father murdered them.
He did that a long time ago, to people I've never met. You'll have to forgive me if I'm short on empathy for complete strangers.
Fallout New Vegas ain't like that now, Perk. Aunts, uncles, cousins, parents, siblings. You can't call them complete strangers, Sosuke.
Can't I? The Ikaria are my family. Nothing will change that. Nothing ever could.
Let's test that.
Pardon?
The state thinks you murdered a cop. They'll make sure no one ever thinks of following your example. Let me repeat that. The full brunt of the police state is about to fall directly on the back of your neck. Hammer. Nail.
Not afraid of prison.
You ever been in one?
What? No,
They shave you.
What?
When you're convicted, they shave you for hygiene. It's not for hygiene.
Are you talking about the virtual work release thing? They fit you for skull caps?
Not right away. They don't do that to people. Put a man in chains, strip him naked, sew his mouth shut. He'll still recognize himself in the mirror. He's still a person. But shave his head, give him a uniform, and make him sit in the dark with 500 others who have been treated the same. He starts to forget. Forget that he's a person. After you're so bored you're seeing constellations in concrete, and after you're scratching your skin raw just to feel something new, that's when they ask if you'd like a job. After people stop being people.
when they hear this sound. How could you even know any of that?
I'm a defense attorney, Sosuke. Who else gets to see the inside of a prison and walk away afterwards?
Out.
Makoto sent me himself, so you never actually took your one phone call, did you?
Take
my phone and call Hana Kim. The Blue Bloods will volunteer a fall guy to confess to these crimes and you'll walk free. After which you'll become one of the richest men in the city overnight.
That's not...
If you are at all curious, I have done some calculations to estimate the extent of your familial holdings. The number is quite remarkable. Though I suppose I haven't taken taxes into account. No one's asking you to abandon the Ikaria. You could become their greatest ally. Together, your families would...
I know exactly what would happen if I made that deal. I won't do it.
Why the hell not? Why not, Sasuke?
You're forgetting a few small details involved in this process. Namely, disowning the people who raised me my entire life. And claiming myself before the world as the son of the people I've been fighting since I was a teenager. How shameless do you think I am? Daisuke, that man raised me like his own son, and in return, I can't throw away the name he gave me just for goddamn money.
Treat your men as you would your own beloved sons, and they will follow you into the deepest valley. Is that it? You would rather rot in prison as an Ikaria than...
live in luxury as a blue blood? Gladly. This is my answer, Morgan. You try and use my parentage in the trial tomorrow, I will dismiss you as my counsel. And change my plea to guilty.
If that's your answer, then that's your answer. You're the client. What you say goes.
Right?
So if you somehow last another night without the cops smothering you in your sleep, we'll need some kind of strategy when we go into court tomorrow.
Of course we will. And what are your thoughts on the matter?
I might have found a window of opportunity. A chance that someone other than you had the means, motive, and opportunity to commit these crimes. Have you remembered anything else about your captivity?
Maybe. If we go over it again and I extrapolate somewhat, or a lot.
We'll need to be prepared. You're going to be called to the stand tomorrow.
All I need to do is keep silent, right?
You better not. I'll be the one asking the questions. You're going to call him to testify?
What do you expect me to say up there?
I want you to tell the truth, of course. I want you to tell the court exactly how you were set free. Alright. You good taking another night shift? He's infuriating, but I'd rather he didn't get shanked at the moment. Of course, Adonai. Detective London will be back shortly, and I'll make sure Sasuke's monitored all night. What is it? You gonna ask me to explain his decision? Because I'm done trying at this point. I don't think his decision is that confusing. He wants to be loyal to the people who have shown loyalty to him. Show loyalty? Do you need a microscope to see it? You spot any members of the noble house of Ikaria around here? Are they hiding under a box somewhere? The people who have shown loyalty to him historically. His decision doesn't confuse me, but his choice of words. He considers the Icaria his true family, yet he again spoke of a debt to them. That seemed odd to me. What do you think? I don't know. Do they really shave everyone in prison, or was that another bluff? Not everyone, no. Only everyone who can't pay the fees. And another little bit later into the night. Oh, back home.
Okay. I believe this will be a good scene to wrap on, because I don't think it's too long.
Sounds good. And if I need to round it out with an interview or two, I think we should have some left. A good puzzle feels satisfying to complete. Like a good story, it maintains its appeal even when viewed in hindsight. A bad puzzle doesn't make sense after you finish it. The picture's there, but it's muddled, vague. And you feel like an idiot for bothering to piece it together. Sasuke Ikari is that kind of puzzle. I fit every edge to every edge just so. But the result wasn't satisfying. An infuriating client to cap off a frustrating case. Having to keep track of what the cops know, what the Blue Bloods know, what the Icaria are hiding, what Emma's thinking. What I've learned, what I know to be true, what I can prove, and what I can actually say. And even after all that, getting kneecapped when my client refuses to play his best cards. I want to clear my head. Or maybe empty it. Ooh. Look around Morgan's place.
A lot about how weird but kind of interesting it is that Morgan's apartment is laid out almost exactly like Date's apartment in AI Somnium Files.
Intriguing. Don't feel like finding something to stream. Sarah's messed up all my recommendations anyway. My home pages used to be great, tuned to a T. I'd get closed-circuit footage of industrial machine accidents and gun disassemblies with no commentary in the title. Now it's all street workout videos and film director tier lists.
Ugh.
If the end result is my internet history looks a little more random to an outsider, I guess I can forgive it. But if she ever gets me added to mailing lists for diet supplements, I'm fully revoking her net access. Goodness. Not in the mood for people watching. Sometimes, if I let my eyes unfocus, the massive foot traffic on the streets below melts into one dark amoeba, curling slightly at its edges as it squirms along the petri dish of the world around me. Its edges lost beyond the horizon, which can be zen in its own way. I'm guessing that's what people see in ant farms, but I wouldn't know. Who the hell would want more insects crawling around their house? What an interesting woman. Okay. I guess just a one more thing? I'm not hungry. Baking is satisfying. Applied chemistry, which is just applied math. But the cleanup isn't fun. And when I don't have a neighbor I'm trying to butter up or a client to visit, everything just sits in my freezer until I end up throwing it out. Sarah seems to shovel it all down without complaint, but she's not here now. When I was still slaving away in that witch's office, I never wanted for hungry mouths. Coworkers will eat anything you leave out in the break room. If I ever get truly desperate to hide evidence, I'll just bake it into a pie and find an office birthday party to crash. It'll be gone without a trace in minutes. This is pointless. Might as well close my eyes and wait. Even staring daggers into the backs of my own eyelids would do more good than this. Whatever this is. One more little dream? Hey, cool kid. If you go to jail for starting this pyramid scheme of an extracurricular activity, does that help or hurt your chances of becoming a lawyer? You're trying to recruit members because if you don't hit critical mass, this all falls apart? It's exactly like a pyramid scheme. Well, I don't know that I can give you advice since I'm only a member on paper. But if you want to start a club for solving mysteries, maybe you should, solve one first. I don't know. Ask questions, talk to people, I guess, record what they say. Take notes and think hard. Oh, you never know. You can be pretty persuasive. Or at least entertaining. I mean, I'm still sitting here for some reason, right? Guess I fell asleep after all. It's still dark out, though. What time is it? 5 in the morning? It says 9:40 on my phone. I slept for 30 minutes, like that's it? What the hell's going on with me today? Ugh, am I really about to give up and start scrolling on my phone? I should check my temperature. There might be something wrong with me. Don't feel like going to find the thermometer. How about a bet? 300 says the first article that pops up is an advertisement.
Oh.
There's always good news every night. Beloved school janitor given dance-off salute by students after having to postpone retirement for third time. Double or nothing. What a weird...
He's so cooked.
Federal investigators recovered Dennings girl. Well, congrats on no longer being kidnapped. But you just cost me 600, you little shit. The nation rejoices tonight as the daughter of renowned philanthropist Joseph Dennings has been confirmed home safe and sound thanks to the efforts of federal investigators. Spearheaded by a playbook that applies old techniques to tackle new challenges. Dennings originally rose to prominence as the CEO of Constancy Inc., which was at the time a marketing firm specialized in virtual advertising. But Dennings' vision for bringing advertising to the front lines with heads-up displayed services cracked open the previously uncharted market of active-duty armed forces members, serving them relevant, relatable, automatically generated content that informed them about the products they wanted waiting for them on their doorstep when they got home.
Buying?
Well, I didn't actually parse this mentally. Virtual advertising. Oh god, yeah. After making Constancy one of the leading advertising agencies in the world, Dennings thought that he'd finally get to spend time with his family when he graciously stepped down as CEO to focus on his philanthropy, while also serving as COO in an advisory role. But tragedy struck earlier this week when his daughter was kidnapped on her way home from school in an attack investigators describe as meticulously planned and flawlessly executed.
Whoever did it must have been so sexy.
When the vicious attackers contacted the Dennings family and demanded an exorbitant ransom of an undisclosed amount, a lesser man would have panicked or worse given in to their demands. Fortunately for his daughter, Dennings is not a lesser man. Those first 24 hours are essential. We need every minute we can get. It's really quite remarkable that Mr. Dennings was clear-headed enough to contact us right away, said one investigator close to the operation. Investigators sprang into action, of course, but here our story takes a curious turn. Instead of searching the map for the young Dennings girl, they mapped out the psychology of the kidnappers themselves. We wouldn't really describe this as a terrorist attack, but the sick, twisted terrorists who committed this atrocity did do us the courtesy of communicating openly and often. From the way they spoke, the words they chose, we started to narrow down their possible backgrounds, and then we revisited the crime scene. Investigators credit their breakthrough to footage of the kidnapping that indicated the terrorists had military-level training and discipline, carrying out the attack in a so-called quartet formation, considering a signature of the military's elite hostage retrieval squad. Anyone who can read handbooks and try to copy what they've seen in military sims, anyone can do that, but this brutal act of class-motivated violence was carried out without so much as a shot fired, miraculously. Skills like that, unfortunately for the suspects, are as unique as fingerprints. We had warrants to search all 4 suspects' properties within the hour. While some less dignified members of the press questioned the nature of this horrific crime, asking pointed questions about a possible relationship between Mr. Dennings' past work and the suspects' military backgrounds, Chief Director of Investigations Valentine avoided the mudslinging with a succinct reply of no comment. Mr. Dennings' business associations have no bearings on the value of his daughter's life, which I am glad to say is no longer in any danger. For that, we have to thank the efforts of the brave young investigators to my left here. Special Investigator Ayase, Technical Analyst Sulkov, Special Agent Greenfield, and Special Agent Beckham. Together they... Are you as infuriated as we are by anti-authority outside actor anarchists inciting anxiety on our city streets anonymously? Join us in our push to make all internet searches tied directly to Citizens Tax Return ID. Sign up below and we'll direct you on how to help. That's fucked. How's that for long odds? What are the chances I see that name? Perfect timing, actually. Maybe chewing out Mireille for keeping me in the dark is just the nightcap I need. Well, come on. That woman was like a black cat. Charming, but when they darken your door a second time, you start to wonder if you aren't hexed. Hang on. That knock doesn't sound like Mireille.
She was revving herself up to have a pleasant evening of daydreaming about Mireille. Thinking way too horny about the evil lady.
It's
you.
Gotcha. Oh yeah, I can only think of one character who's green. It really is so... Say what?
How green are they?
Oh, with envy.
Very green.
Oi, that voice almost sounds like... Get up already, you shit. I better check the door cam. Detective, is that you? Open up. Pardon? Is that open up? Oh my god, is she drunk? Hang on, are you? Don't pretend you can't hear me in your little creep cave, you little creep. Detective Reyes, are you drunk? Yes. No. It's a crime for you to ask me that. Oh. I can just wave my badge out of the door cam. And my door just unlocks like that? That cannot be legal. Oh, it's not legal. What? Oh, wait, what model of door is it? Oh yeah, for this model door in this city zoning, it is legal for me to unlock your door like that.
The face of
That's really something special. Guess Han had a point. Needing to make spare keys is a fair trade-off to avoid this bullshit. And since you just invited me in. I did not. Here I am, above the book. What's happening right now? Why is your ceiling all the way up there? Who'd you kill to get a place this huge? What do you even do with this much space? Hang the rafters like a bat. Echo. 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 Detective, this is absurd. Does anyone even know you're... Does anyone even know you're here? What? Let me check. Detective Reyes, badge number 10806, reporting on all channels. Self-assignment, protective surveillance of suspected criminal target, threat assessed as medium to low, target capabilities, not a threat to self or others. Reporting in from... What's your address? Do not dox me to every cop in the city, Reyes. Reporting in from address withheld. Any copies? Over.
Copy. Copy. Cam saw you entering the building. Copy. Reading your biomonitor. You got you 10:08:06. Have a quiet night.
Are you finished? Hey, where's the snowball? What? She waves her hands in a rough approximation of something cloud-shaped. Snowball. Porcuball. Matcha ball. Sarah's doing her job. A likely story. Probably make her sleep in a coffin in the parking garage. Going off of David's setup, she might be more comfortable if I did.
It's so sad that a bunch of people are actually keeping an eye on Reyes because she was definitely thinking, hey, does no one know you're here while you're really drunk and vulnerable?
Just out of curiosity, Detective, would anyone miss you right now? Is this booze? That's water. Ugh, God. Can I do something for you this evening, Detective? Or did you come here just to critique my interior decorating and knock shit over? I came here because I'm drunk. And I'm drunk because you're in danger. Another way around. I drank because I was pissed and causing everyone told me to go home. Even though he shot a guy only a few hours ago, I'm the one who's too emotional and too... useless. So I came here. Catch a bad guy. 'Cause you were defending that cop killer? Uh-huh. Who's also an orca killer. Oh, whale cop killer. Killer whale cop. Every goddamn idiot in the city wants to shoot him. And also you, because you're a stinking lawyer. Thanks. And I'm a cop. Cops are supposed to protect people. Even stinky lawyers. Thanks. So I'll park myself right here and catch the next assassin they send after you. And then lock him up and throw away the key. And if I accidentally save your life too, that's okay. Even if you don't deserve it. You could have just stopped talking. I can stop talking easy. Do you really not have anything to drink? I'm not sure I want to drink with you, Detective. Who invited you? You're the host, do whatever, but I am gonna do what I gotta do, and... where the hell's the screw top? If I have to host a drunk Detective Reyes for the rest of the night, as I evidently do, suppose I didn't force myself to go through the ordeal sober. I'll get a bottle opener, Detective. Oh, shit. I said I'll get it. Wait. This is the best part of the vid, where he breaks down the horsepower. For years, they all abided by this gentleman's agreement where their engines would have horsepower capped at 270 or so, to avoid this, like, arms race of engineering in a country with such a huge street racing scene. Right. But the crazy part is, it was only ever on paper. They were building and selling cars with 300 plus horsepower, and they all just listed the horsepower as 270 domestically. Yeah. And God, everybody knew it. I mean, they were selling the same car with the same engine, with the same goddamn torque rating in 2 different countries, and they were saying, oh, I don't know, I think it's only 276. That's crazy. I was born in the wrong generation. I'll die without even knowing what gasoline smells like.
Poor baby.
Gasoline is odorless. What? It's odorless. They added a strong smell during refinement so that leaks could be noticeable. That's natural gas, you dummy. Scared me for a second, jeez. If you're gonna try and ruin something for me that I never even had a chance of experiencing, you better get it right. That doesn't know the difference between gas and gasoline. So, you knew Chopin? God. We dated, okay? Happy? I wouldn't have guessed that. For how long? Once. Which is not a lot. Duh, I know. It was such a shitty date. Or his uniform, like I was supposed to salute.
God.
What?
Cringe.
Super cringe. And God, was he cheap. I said, would you tip the bartender? And he got all confused. He just handed me 2 cans. Why would I tip? Because you tipped the goddamn bartender, man. That's why. You can always tell when someone grew up with money. Maybe they just can't hide it. Maybe none of them ever learned the decency to try. Rockford's not so bad. I mean, it's obvious still, but the airhead part kind of offsets it. Yeah, that's... What do you mean? Emma comes from money? Guess even you can tell a joke. Worst date I've ever been on. The waitress looked like she was gonna stab him. You'd think he was allergic to salt with all the nitpicking he did. And then he has the balls to tip 10%. That is bad. Oh, what do you know? You probably haven't been on a date since the 60s. How old do you think I am? I was talking about the tip. What tip? Oh, the tip. Oh yeah, but still. Do you even have a dating profile?
A nightmare.
Or do you just hang around funeral homes and castles and shit looking for other creatures of the night? I don't have a dating profile. You met Chopin through an app? Yeah, a dating app for cops.
Jesus Christ, Reyes.
Even worse. There's a dating app for cops? Yeah, just for cops. Just for all.
Jesus.
Why is it called Just for All if it's just for cops? It's a... Oh, it's a pun. Well, not really a pun. Wordplay. Play on words for justice for all. The cop catchphrase, we say it all the time when we catch people. There's an app for everyone. Probably even lawyers with sun allergies. I don't think there's an app for me. Hang on, let me project the hologram of the world's smallest violin out of my eye socket.
That's so sad. Where's the dating app for serial killers?
Right? Apps suck anyway. This one I matched, she was terrible. Her teeth... she was trying to smile or some shit? She was all teeth.
Hear me out. The end of... The end of The Devil, Morgan's happy ending is she gives up lawyering and makes the dating app called Heartbreak.
think it was her first kiss. You remember your first? I don't know why everyone's always so concerned with firsts.
Why does she keep saying this?
What the hell's that mean? Don't worry about it. I've never once given a second thought to anything you say, so get that straight. I wanted to slap the guy's dumb face at the end of that date. But then I didn't even recognize him. When Lon and I came in, he was face down. Whole floor blood. Just blood and paper. Couldn't turn him over, had to preserve the scene. Just had to leave him there. Sorry. Sorry? I'm not sorry, I'm angry. You seem to get angry a lot. You've been to anger engagement? You know what that's about? Managing anger. Keeping calm. Not letting your emotions control you.
Works great for you.
I'm great at all of that. If you say so. I do say so. With what I'm feeling most of the time, I'm a goddamn saint without calling my day. I'm just too small. Little hole in the bottom of a big water tower. Fills up faster than it'll ever drain.
Did age regression save her?
If I was big, I'd trample this whole city down long, long before my anger's gone. It didn't even seem like people from the hall. Just two people-shaped things face down in blood. Sosuke and Chopin, they were both face down? What? Yeah. Because Rogers was cuffing Sosuke on the ground? Rogers, what a klutz, that guy couldn't even cuff a cow. A cow? I don't know, something to cuff easily. A dress shirt. Oh, I don't want a round of applause. Everyone clap for the world's greatest, wordsmith. Oh, just shut up.
World's greatest bitch.
Persuading her to remove her shoes and socks before tossing her up the stairs was the very upper limit of my patience. Making it off the floor and onto the bed is up to her. I don't care. I can sleep on my couch. I could sleep in my chair if I had to. I can fall asleep in any position, actually. It's not actually worth bragging about, especially to myself. So now a homicide detective knows where I live. Guess the address is on the business card, downside of a home office. At least it's fun to imagine how sick she'll be tomorrow. Can't remember a time I got that drunk, thankfully. Can't remember a time I got that mad. And the last time I cried... Screw this. Introspection's a scam. I'm not nearly so flush that I can afford to waste time on it. Oh my god, stop smiling like that. Yes, you found the teacher's missing key card. No, you're not Sherlock Holmes. Or whoever his lawyer was. Oh, I'm sure. You're gonna be the most popular kid in school overnight now. Well, I wasn't being that sarcastic. You better hope it's somewhat true. Deadline for your little club sign-up period is next week, isn't it? Actually, you'll need to find 4 members. I'm gonna be out that day. Family thing. What a face. You show everyone puppy dog eyes that pathetic? Look, if you're gonna be a lawyer, you'll need to get better at reading fine print. See, you need 5 members to found a club, but if you have at least 2 students present at the qualification time, you can get an extension. I mean, even you can get 1 person to join, right? Just use that winning personality of yours. It's a family thing. I can't say no. Nothing. I didn't say anything. 11:30 the next morning, and that is going to be the perfect place for us to... Hold on.
Yep. My throat is actually starting to kill me from post-nasal drip, so I will probably dip and leave farewells to you.
Not ideal at all. But that totally is fine. Let me go ahead and give you a
Take care, everybody.
quick shout out. And thank you for joining us as always.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Take care. Oh. That's conveniently quick. Virtual work release term. We encountered an issue while processing your request. Hey there. Due to ongoing controversy following the suspected suicide of inmate Jay Gallet, search results for this term are temporarily blocked. Read more about how we cooperate with authorities to combat disinformation here. Go ahead and notch that off for Friday. Not that it's a problem. Save it up. Alright. Thank you for being here, everybody. Check real quick if there's a raid target. Yes. Groovy. As usual, 4-Leaf Island. Getting up to some art today. So let me set that up. Alright. Usual spiel. Thanks for being here. If you want to get updates on when our streams are, we usually post about them on Tumblr. We like to do a little art when we can as well. You want to catch up with the VODs, we're on YouTube, and you want to send us a little bit of financial support, either drop us a sub here or pop over to Ko-Fi. You can send a little bit of, you can tip us directly. All usernames are JuniPops, same spelling as the channel. Friday we are doing more Silent Hill F. We are replaying the whole game over again to get alternate endings, but we're using a guide, we're skipping past anything, like, unnecessary. So, you know. Putting some haste into it, won't be much longer. And then Monday of the Devil, probably, if I had to guess, probably the last episode, or probably the last stream of episode 2. But we'll see you next week. And for now, everyone, have a good rest of the day, I hope. Treat 4-Leaf Island real polite, as always. And thank you again. Bye-bye.